Am I the A-hole stories? The first story is titled, Am I the A-hole for choosing to stay with my mom? I'm 17 mil, living with my mom full-time, since November of last year. My parents have been divorced for 10 years now, my dad has been remarried for 9 years, and he now has a total of 7 kids. 3, including me, with my mom of which I'm the oldest, and 4 kids with his new wife. My younger siblings still go to his house, and both want to, and feel like they have to. My reason for changing the custody stuff is because I hated being the oldest in a blended family. I was pushed to babysit my younger half-siblings, and my dad's wife's nieces and nephews sometimes, while the adults were doing other things. Sometimes, these were random nieces and nephews, other times it was literal infants who were just born. It was all so much. I didn't get paid. I didn't get anything special. And I couldn't say no. I also found it hard, because they live in a 4-bedroom house, and there was a lot of sharing. I was expected to help feed the younger kids, and I didn't mind it so much, but some of the time, I do. But it was always my dad's wife issuing the orders. I know she's my stepmom, and a parent in the home, but I don't have any respect for her. I feel like she wanted to use me as a nanny for her. The reason I feel this way is, she asked my mom to send me over there at times when it was my mom's parenting time, so I could babysit. Like every other week wasn't enough, she wanted to eat into my time at home as well. She also tried to shame me for liking and spending more time with my full siblings, than my half-siblings. She said it wasn't fair to treat them different. But A, the age gap is big, and so I will do different things, and B, it does feel different, because the divorce was hard on me, and I spent years being pissed that my dad would leave my mom for someone else and have more kids. I was pissed that I was the oldest, and having to look after another woman's kids. I was pissed that I didn't have one home anymore, but one home at a house I went to. My dad's has never felt like home to me. My dad is hurt I don't spend overnights there anymore. He's actually pretty angry. His wife called me an a-hole for jumping ship. They wanted me to spend lockdown with them, and when I said no, it created a bigger rift and he and I haven't talked since. She still asks for babysitting. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The fact that she still asks you to babysit, after you started staying full-time with your mom, confirms that she just treated you like a free nanny. You have 2 parents, and are old enough to choose where you want to live. Of course, it's nice to help out with the family, but it seems like the balance at your dad's place was heavily tilted onto your back. Also, I never like when people try to force someone to treat half-siblings like siblings. Circumstances are different, and like you said, there is often a big age gap, or at least a difference in shared experience. It was always, you're the oldest. Or guys can babysit too. And it's like nobody ever said they couldn't. But being the oldest doesn't mean I know how to take care of everyone's kids. It also doesn't mean I need to do it so often. She even wants me to leave my mom to do it. It is. They're still really young. Not to mention they didn't go through our parents' divorce with us, they came after, and then there's my issues with their mom. It's also weird and complicated and makes me jealous of people whose parents stay together. Not that I would want my parents to be unhappy, but like I do wish I had that still. That's parentification. They used you. And now they're both angry that they can't take advantage of you anymore. Your dad is not innocent in this. You might be the oldest, but that doesn't mean you have less right to free time than other kids. You are so not the a-hole. Don't let their crap crawl into your head. You did an amazingly good job with your self-care. You identified what's not good for you and stopped it as soon as you could. They placed a burden on your shoulder which is just too much. You're still dealing with the divorce. Allow yourself to heal. And don't listen to them when they drop this reverse sexism crap. Not the a-hole. Your dad doesn't want your company, he wants your services. When he's willing to spend months not talking to you without hesitation or remorse, you have to take his actions for what they are, a declaration of intent. He doesn't want a son, but rather a babysitter. Boycotting his son like he was a service establishment with a bad Yelp review, rather than his own kid because he's angry, is epitome of bad parenting. I'm glad you stood up for yourself. I'm proud of you for recognizing your worth, and actively seeking out your best interest. Not the a-hole. They don't want you, they want a free babysitter. That whole having 4 kids in approximately 9 years, which is not unheard of, is enough. Especially if she's trying to pawn them off on OP. He made the right choice. They probably planned around having OP be their housekeeper when talking about having more kids. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad I want to spend time with him, and not his wife and kids, while I am in town? I travel a lot for work, usually I would go by plane. But during all of this, I have been driving places instead of flying. Well, I got sent to the town I spent my early childhood in. I haven't been there in several years due to how busy I am, but I figured it would be a great opportunity to visit my dad, given I am there for almost 3 weeks and my work will only be a few days spread across those weeks. Now my dad remarried, but I only met his wife twice because my mom moved me and my sister halfway across the country when they divorced, and well, she was difficult when it came to visitation and custody. As for their kids, I only met the oldest one once when he was a small child, but I haven't met the other two. Just for some perspective, I am 26, my dad is 51, his wife is 39 and their kids are 13, 9 and 8. Now I hate to be this blunt about it, but while I wish my dad's wife and their kids all the happiness in the world, I have zero interest in them. The only person I am there to see is my dad. Of course, I am not opposed to meeting them, seeing them, talking to them, being nice etc. But as I said, I miss and love my dad. I honestly don't care about the rest, so I was hoping to spend a bit of alone time with him. Now day 1, I came by their house, had dinner, spent time with them all. Day 2, same deal. Day 3, I had to work. Day 4, I was meeting my dad at a restaurant and he showed up with everyone in tow. Day 5, we were going fishing, and he took all his kids. Day 6, I had to work and now it's day 7. So, I decided to talk to him in private and told him that I want to spend some time with him, just him and not his entire family. It didn't go over well. He said that it is weird I don't want to spend time with my stepmom and brother and sisters. Well, I told him that I met his wife twice in my life and I met one of his kids once years ago, so I honestly do not consider them as such, and I am hoping to spend some quality time with him while I am in town. He seemed offended and left soon after. I since got a call from his wife who was angry about me not considering their kids as siblings. Don't know where to go from here. Was I being an a-hole? Because I feel like it is a pretty normal request, considering I haven't seen him in years. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. They're strangers to you and it feels weird. I don't know why your dad can't just spend a few hours with you alone. I don't mind spending some time with them too, it is pretty much unavoidable, but like you said, a few hours here and there is all I am asking for. He probably believes that is his child, you need to just accept your family as is. He doesn't get it. The issue here is, you're an adult, and none of his kids are close in age. Say you want adult time with your dad. You have no issues with his family, but sometimes you just want someone on-one without kids around. Your dad seems oblivious to this fact. His wife's a major a-hole for her reaction. A meal with 2 people is nice and easy for conversation. A meal with 6? Yeah, no. Yeah, I haven't actually had a proper conversation yet, largely because you can't, with a bunch of kids there. Not the a-hole. Even if you loved and knew his new family well, it still would be understandable that you'd want some individual bonding time, especially given his kids are actual children. You spent multiple nights with everyone, so you weren't unreasonable for asking for some one-on-one time. He could have made time to at least have a dinner with you alone, given how little he's seen you. That's what I am saying. It sounds to me like the dad is using the wife and kids as a buffer, precisely so that he doesn't have to have alone time with his older son. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to name my son after his deceased father, and telling my mother-in-law, if she refuses to respect my wishes, then I won't let her see him without supervision? Basically the title. I'm currently 8 months pregnant. My husband died from COVID about a month ago, and I've been absolutely ragged since, and this is kinda my breaking point. Prior to my husband's, Mike's, death, we had agreed on Tom Alexander Jones, all names are fake obviously, as our son's name. Tom, we decided on together, Alexander after my husband's grandfather, and Jones is my last name. My husband took my last name after marriage by choice, as he didn't have the best upbringing, and was limited contact with his parents. After he died, I made the decision to add Michael to our son's name, so it is Tom Michael Alexander Jones. This has been a problem with my mother-in-law, who is insisting his first name should be Mike. I have refused for several reasons. 1. The real Mike name is extremely common. 2. It has an unfortunate nickname that got my husband bullied at school. 3. I don't want to feel sad every time I say my son's name. My mother-in-law has flipped her crap over this. Despite my saying no, she has proceeded to get a brass nameplate for his crib, multiple blankets and onesies, and the letter hanging name, all with Michael instead of Tom. This came to a head last weekend, when she bought over more Michael blankets, and I was having phantom contractions. She told me to toughen up and then said that, even if I give my son the first name Tom, she will call him Mike in private. Honestly, I was a bit the a-hole. I was in pain and hadn't slept properly in days. I snapped and told her to get out of my house, and that if she was going to call my son Mike in private, then I wouldn't allow her to visit him or be around him without supervision. She's now hysterically calling everyone in the family, accusing me of being a witch who won't let her see her only grandbaby. She actually has a couple of adopted grandchildren from my sister-in-law, but they don't count as real grandkids to her. I feel like trash. Maybe I should change the name just to keep the peace? Am I just being a hormonal witch? Am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I think you found out why your husband had limited contact with his parents. Your mother-in-law is controlling to a whole new level of crazy. Be very careful if you choose to bring your child near this woman, and think very carefully if you are considering leaving your child in her care. Your child, your name. Don't listen to this woman, pick the name that feels right to you. Came here to say this, OP, you need to be careful with how much contact you have with this woman. No contact. No contact. That's about how much contact she should have with this woman. Her husband already made clear she gave him a crappy childhood. Not the a-hole. It is very sad that your husband died. But as he agreed to this name before he died, your mother-in-law should accept this. She is the a-hole, as the other grandbabies are not real ones? Wow. Just wow. Yeah, she's also going against husband's choice, which shows she doesn't actually care about him that much. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. This is your child. Keeping the name that you and your husband picked is a lovely way to honor him, especially since you've decided to include his name within your son's name. Mother-in-law sounds like she's grieving as well, but she definitely overstepping her boundaries. Don't make a decision that you might regret just to appease someone. I'm so sorry for your loss. I wish you, and little Tom, the best. I would be concerned that mother-in-law would always compare the son to the dad. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for getting angry when a family secret was downplayed in front of my kids? I might be overreacting, because I really don't like my in-laws, but I don't know. My husband and his brother have a set of older half-siblings who are the same age as their mom. His half-brother and his mom fight over everything. Neither of them takes it that seriously, so I think it's more sarcasm, but it gets seriously annoying. Also, I try to teach my kids not to name call, and then the two of them go at it right in front of them. Yesterday, we went to their house and mother-in-law and brother-in-law were doing it again. My 8-year-old asked why they hate each other, and mother-in-law just said they don't, but brother-in-law has to add that they used to date and it ended badly. My 13-year-old was super freaked out. I tried to change the subject, but mother-in-law told her that is how she met father-in-law, and then father-in-law interjected that brother-in-law was broke and she needed a real man. They just laughed, but I could tell my daughter was very uncomfortable, and I think it's gross that he brags about taking his son's girlfriend like that. I've heard him joke about it before, combined with what a crappy dad he was to his own kids. It just really grossed me out. I yelled at them that they are disgusting, and they aren't doing a much better job as grandparents than they did as parents. I demanded that we leave and my husband got mad at me for overreacting. I think I told them they were gross once more, and I woke up to a text from mother-in-law about how every family issue we have involves me overreacting, and don't I see the pattern. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. What did I just read? LOL, please take this to Maury or Dr. Phil to get sorted out. Dr. Phil? This is a joke, right? Not the a-hole. This family sounds toxic. The less you can be around them, the better. No a-holes here. I think some of the hardest relationships are the ones with people who we don't choose, in-laws, and when people have different boundaries. OP came from a family with different boundaries than this one. Everyone is justified in how they feel. The hard part is finding a mode of existence that makes everybody comfortable. Asking them not to hash out their trashy past and call each other names in front of children who are clearly uncomfortable is not asking too much. The in-laws are a-holes for not reining in their trashy drama, when asked for the benefit of the kids. What did I just read? Some kind of Ozark Game of Thrones, but without the clarity of lineage. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.